I was dreamed of being a mother. Like that was my purpose. That was what I chased ever since I was young, young, young. And in my life history of trying to date someone and get married, it was like I went through it all. And I know most of us have. You go through it sometimes trying to find that right person. So my kind of story and background is a little different, just from chasing my fertility journey. I was approaching 30 and I was planning, I was like, you know what, I didn't meet the right one. I think maybe I'll freeze my egg. So it was kind of always on my radar to kind of prepare myself kind of going into my fertility journey. And at 30, was considering it, but then lo and behold, I was set up on a blind date with someone. So I was like, okay, wow, okay, I guess wow, it's all happening now. I'm 30, this is great. So I put that on hold. I was like, I don't need to freeze my eggs. I think I'm the one. We got engaged. Once we were engaged, I thought it was going to be kind of happily ever after, smooth sailing. He became very abusive, and I felt like I was trapped in this kind of abusive relationship and didn't quite know how to get myself out of it. I kind of just continued escalating. And finally, though, 2 weeks before the wedding, I did have the courage to kind of kick him out of the house and get out of that relationship. Because I remember in that moment being like, I cannot see him as the father of my children. And that was like, I was like, I cannot raise a child with this monster. So that was what got me out of that relationship. And thank goodness. So 2 weeks before, canceled the wedding. With that comes a whole slew of just shame and like telling my family. And I had personally actually paid for everything, so I was out all the money for this big wedding that he wanted. I wanted something small. I had significant PTSD from the relationship, and my dog actually, who always had come to work with me. I am a physical therapist. He always came to work with me. I volunteered with him at Boston Children's Hospital until he passed away last year, and he became like my service dog. My husband had to kill him. It was just a whole thing. So I didn't date for after that. I didn't date for 5 years at all. I just was more men, absolutely not. Like I became in a little bubble. I would work 12 hours a day, come home, and just stick to myself. And that was my life for almost 5 years. So then I was like, okay, I want to be a mom. I have to kind of pull myself out of this. I threw myself into my career and my dog doing volunteer work with cancer patients and Boston Children's Hospital. We ran a marathon pushing him, 80 pounds of him in a stroller. We raised like $30,000 for Boston Children's. So I just threw myself into kind of these labors of love for others, but it also was always really hard because I was surrounded in my career as a pelvic floor PT with postpartum moms. It's like you're constantly around what you crave, but you're also hearing, I have 16 years of hearing the highs and lows of everyone's journey. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think it was a good thing to be exposed to on my own journey, because I think I had realistic expectations, perhaps, of what I would face in my own fertility journey, my own pregnancy, postpartum recovery. It was nice to have that in the back of my mind going into it. So I think that was something that always set me up, I guess, for success in my own journey. But it was the journey to get there that was always a little more challenging. But I did start dating 5 years later. Oh, the journey of dating as a 35-year-old woman during COVID and wanting to get married and all the divorce men already had kids, didn't want kids, lied about having vasectomies. I went through it. I just did. Loser after loser after loser. And then I dated some nice guys that just weren't the right fit because they didn't want kids. So finally, during COVID, I was like, enough's enough. I'm freezing my eggs, and I'm going to have a sperm donor baby on my own. I just was like, I was done with it. I was like, I want to be a mom. This is my goal. So I moved forward with going to freeze my eggs. I was 36 by the time. Again, this was at the tail end of COVID. Some things were just slower with the whole medical process. And I went in to have my appointment with my reproductive endocrinologist, and they were like, okay, at your age, 36, hopefully just one round of egg freezing, might be two, just based on your age and your egg count and whatnot. So I was like, great, okay. Mentally preparing, it's a very expensive process. It's like $10,000 to $15,000 per round. So after they did like my initial testing, again, I was prepared for maybe one round, maybe two. They came back, and unfortunately, I was already premenopausal and going into menopause early, possibly spiked by the PTSD and the cortisol levels and things of that nature. So they kind of prepared me that we might only get like 1 to 3 eggs each round. And we need over 25 eggs for like a 80% chance of, just the stats, naming the stats for me. So it became a whole other daunting task of going through this. I ended up having 5 egg retrievals back to back. One of them failed, and I ovulated prior to, which they said, never happens. But I was just like, oh, the $52,000. I just thought, oh, go on the bank account. So $52,000 later, I had 25 eggs on ice, and no money in my bank account, and savings completely wiped. And going into the process then of being like, how am I even going to now move on to the IVF portion? Find a sperm donor, all of these things. Going from online dating and then going on to like sperm banks. It's a very similar process in a different way. And I'm sitting at home at night, scrolling through, is the baby daddy gonna be? It's very twisted. I don't know if it's better or worse. Because now, everybody you don't know, but you really go on and you see you can pay extra for like their like speaking and giving like a verbal thing. You can see their handwriting, you can have the mom tell a story. I can go, the more you pay, the deeper you get into like the sperm donor. So and again, COVID, mind you, there was a sperm shortage. There was a shortage of sperm during COVID because the other shut everything down, so they couldn't have people go in. But as I was going through to try to find a sperm donor would be, it was a very humbling experience because I'm hearing, and bless every single sperm donor's heart, bless their hearts for going in to do their job and donate the sperm. And I have such a special place for them doing that because it takes something. But I remember like listening to some of the interviews and thinking, he was like, why do you want to be part of our sperm donor program? And it would just be like someone being like, I thought it would be really cool to have a lot of kids. And I just thought, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is like an 18-year-old boy that is just like hitting me with drum. And it was so mortifying to me. And also, with my family, I was in this, being a single mom by choice, which now they kind of call this as an umbrella term if you decide to go this route. I did want my child to perhaps kind of resemble me. I know everyone kind of has a different decision of what they might want to do based on, choosing a sperm donor, but I felt like it was going to be such a hard path as it was. I was like, I kind of want someone who has similar physical qualities, just to try to ease, in my mind, I was like, that would ease the process of it, just to resemble myself, my family, which is we have 12 people in our family, blonde hair, blue eyes, which for finding a sperm donor, that is tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, was quite a difficult challenge, and I didn't find it. So anyways, I got rid of that idea and I settled on the sperm donor I felt comfortable with. I actually ordered 2 vials and had them in my fridge. And I was first going to attempt because everything else in my fertility panels was great. It was just the fact that I was going to be going through menopause early and my egg count was low. So I was like, I'll try a couple more months on my own. And if not, then I was going to go through IUIs and then IVF if needed with my frozen eggs. But when I was getting ready to go through the process, like literally the night of, I had gotten a charge in one of my online dating profiles that I forgot to cancel. I had been off of them for months, but it renewed after like the 6 months or a year. I was like, what the heck? I need to save money because I don't have time to, doing online dating. So I went on to cancel it, and there was a message from my mom. So here I am. I was like, I hate men. Son of a gun. I'm there with my sleepy time tea curled up in a blanket. Just what am I going to just do with this baster and get myself ended? So I responded to him, and he ended up immediately wanting to talk on the phone, which was like weird. Like online dating, they all want to just like text forever and everything. He called me. We talked for 3.5 hours on the phone. And had a great conversation, and just it was like so magical. So then in my mind, I was just feeling so conflicted. But at the end of the conversation, I, like 2:30 in the morning, I'm like, well, Travis, it was so nice talking with you, but I'm not interested in dating because I'm having a sperm donor baby on my own.
You said that?
Oh, I said that. Yeah, was committed.
I just wanted to make sure you said it. You weren't just thinking.
Oh no, that was the exact phrasing. Exactly. Because I was like, not gonna let another man spoil my plan. I was committed. The sperm was there. I was gonna do it. So he's like, what? He's thinking we just had this great conversation and we're gonna get a first date. He's like, you can't get rid of me that easily. He's like, but I did just watch a movie about this called Switch. They have like Jennifer Aniston. Like he literally like the night before just watched this, and he's like, no, I really would like to talk to you. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like I actually it's happening. So anyways, he actually continued to pursue me. I don't know why. I have the red flags and I was waiting. And I canceled our first date probably 3 or 4 times. Like I would back out because I just was committed to my plan. Finally went on a first date. We had a great first date. And then immediately the next day I sent this like paragraph long text message. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm having a baby on my own. Anyways, I put the poor man through hell for 6 weeks. And then I started realizing I actually really, really liked him. And in the meantime, I had dumped the vial of sperm. I was like, I can't do this because I really had feelings for him. But then again, I had thankfully got it out of the air. I was like, I want to have a baby. So our relationship moved very quickly because I said, you're in it or you're not. Like, this is like, I was like, I'm not going to, like, you're 6 foot, blonde hair, you got blue eyes. I'm like, do I think for your sperm? Like, our relationship was actually here. I was like, it'd be cheaper. It'd be cheaper for like, and so it was great because it was out there from like the first conversation, and I gave him every opportunity to run. I was the best woman at my cousin's wedding, and I invited him. I said, "You're gonna come, and I'm telling everyone you're the sperm donor." So I mean, I put him through every test. I don't know why he's still with me. I don't know how I married such a wonderful man, but I mean, just talk about being in a relationship with someone that when it's right is right. We did start trying actually for our first baby. We had 1 miscarriage. The next month, not successful, but then on our third try, pregnant, and had my son Grady. So I ended up I was always of the mindset of preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. I was advanced maternal age. And that's a little geriatric pregnancy. But I think I was just always so nervous that I was preparing for the worst. I did have full-on placenta previa throughout my pregnancy. So I was put on like full restrictions from 20 weeks on. I was anticipating potentially needing bed rest, but I was able to work throughout. And otherwise, it was very uncomplicated other than that, but I was able to work until 2 days before my due date. My water broke at home because I was just doing some paperwork and catching up with patients. No contractions yet, so my husband was, we were taking care of also at the time, my father-in-law, who just passed away a few weeks ago. We're taking care of him because he had cancer during this whole time. So my husband was in Maine because they split our time between here and Maine, and so he was up. But he wasn't actually hanging out with my father-in-law. He was out fishing on the lake. He lives on the lake house. So he was out fishing. I go, I think my water broke. So he took it off the boat. But he was there within an hour. And I think like my contractions hadn't started, so I was able to take a shower. I sent the rest of my notes to my patients to tell them what I needed them to do as I was, getting ready. And I'm thinking, they were like, just get to the hospital by midnight. So I took my time. I was very relaxed. I went in very open-minded, wanting an unmedicated birth, but also preparing for the worst, thinking I very well could be a C-section because I anticipated on being a planned C-section at 36 weeks due to my placenta previa, which did magically resolve at like 36 weeks. So then I had to switch gears and be like, oh, okay, so delivery. So went in, I was thinking, I'm gonna have the baby, the next morning. I was in labor for 48 hours. And they did have to induce me because I just was not progressing. Everything else was fine, but I just was not progressing. So I was on Pitocin for more than 28 hours. And things were cranking up. I finally did get an epidural. My body was just convulsing with every contraction, just beyond and just shaking. So my husband did convince me to get an epidural. But within like 30 minutes, finally, and I wasn't progressing. I was having full convulsions, and they're like, "You're not even a centimeter yet." So it was just pretty wild ride. But we ended up having otherwise a very beautiful delivery, just very easy pushing and labor otherwise with a beautiful healthy boy. So my little boy Brady just turned 2. Since that time, we have had 6 miscarriages. I just am getting over my last one. We can get off to it. At this stage, I still do have those frozen eggs. So our plan from here is just to save, because with everything being out of pocket, it is a bit of a wild ride. So we're just saving, and I'm so thankful that I did go through that, because to have the eggs and the opportunity is a blessing. But it's also coming to terms with getting beat down each time. You can't get excited for the positive pregnancy test at this point, because it's just really tough. So it's hard to keep pursuing and trying, but we're still trying while we save money. So hopefully we can. But I'm confident that if we do use them, that hopefully we can have baby number 2 and just kind of continue our journey. But it's just so nice to see, even from everything you guys have shared and everything I hear from my clients and patients, the amazing support that you do get. It's so nice to see things finally, I think, in the healthcare field turning in the right direction with support groups like this, with people being more open and sharing. I'm an open book to people with my whole story, because I feel like I don't want people to ever feel alone, and with miscarriage, with fertility, with the whole 9 yards, because it's such a battle that has not been spoken about for so long. And, even with postpartum depression, like you were saying, I feel like people are finally bringing it to the forefront, and it's so great to see my own patients feeling more supported and cared for, having doula support to change it from a complete 180 experience for people. It's so, so valuable, and it's so great. It's like what you do, it's huge to have people feel like they're supported on their journey, and that's what I hope to do with my own patients and, pregnancy and postpartum, to feel that support is a make or break between someone's experience and how they view those very vulnerable first few months and years of their life with their baby. And it just sets the stage for the home, for that happy home. A happy mom is going to have a happy home and happy baby. And so it's just so nice to see you guys all here sharing your stories with, great happy endings, and then just like everything you all do, with doulas, just giving that support across the entire continuum. And then even with Megan's a pediatric physical therapist here. And just being so great to have that support for our children, as they're, encountering things, because that postpartum, especially even first mom anxiety, but even after, making sure our babies are okay and having someone who can lead the way and giving the guidance for, is this okay? Is this normal? How can I help my babies? I think that's what we all want. How can we help our babies be normal? In a nutshell, it's still going on. My story's still ongoing. So that's it. Exactly. We're a playlist. All right.
Yes.